Good evening. So yesterday I went up to the Northern Shooting Show at Harrogate. I bought a couple of pellet shooting pistols, revolvers actually, and CO2 revolvers. Yeah, unfortunately there wasn't an awful lot of airgun related things up there, unfortunately. Fire out were there, no BSA, no day state. It's pretty poor really, no BSA, no Gammo, yeah, and none of the other airgun manufacturers, so yeah, but did manage to pick up a couple of revolvers. This is the first one I'm going to sort of unboxing review. It's the Schofield. This is the pellet shooter, and you can tell the pellet shooter, it's got the brown grips where the white, like ivory looking grips are BB. So now, interesting, the actual barrel is actually smooth bore. I've cleaned it and it is definitely a smooth bore, and I know this, which sort of popped me off sort of buying one initially many years when it came out a few years ago. But yeah, I had a play with it and it's really nice, the actual handling and everything. So not a lot on the box, just a little bit of information at the back. Basically it's a full metal body, wood textured grips, they look and feel very nice even though they are plastic. CO2 powered, also you've got your pellet cartridge inside, your pellets go in the back, and it makes loading really quick. So we'll move on, and I did chronograph it while shooting a tin can. I started the tin can actually at 12.5 metres and it ended up at 16 metres. I'd actually dug the can into the ground, into the grass. It was solid, and this revolver actually eventually shot it out after about 18 shots, and it just shot it out and it kept firing it down the garden. And I'll show you that when I show you the Chrony results. So the manual, yeah, it's very thin, flimsy, gives you the basic details, yeah. It sort of gives the impression that there's something missing from it, but not really. It doesn't show the sight picture, shows you how to load it, everything else. And that is about it really, you know, and if you spares, you can buy some extra cartridges and stuff like that. So yeah, very basic, but you know, like most CO2, if people have CO2 air guns, air pistols, you know, they're all much the same the way they load. Okay, so I'm going to show you that anyhow. So this is the revolver, and it is actually a really nice piece of kit, yeah. The actual smoothbore barrel stops about half an inch from the front. So even though it's not rifled, it's the length of the barrel is from there to there, yeah. So it's quite a decent length barrel, and it does actually show in its actually accuracy. Because I mean, I was shooting Schofield REEVES'S, which are 8.4 grain out of this, and if you put the sight on target, you manage to hit that target, that can, yeah. And it's a just under 3 inches diameter, a tin can out at 12.5 metres, and I was hitting it about 95% of the time, I reckon. You know, probably a bit more practice. Single action, obviously. So this is obviously unloaded. There's no CO2 in it. So you'll notice you have to cock the trigger. Yeah, cylinder rotates, and then you got the trigger release. I'll show you the trigger. It's really quite nice. There's a little bit of a creep in it, and then it goes. The trigger obviously very much like the Umex single action Colt. So yeah, very nice. Now to open it, you pull this back here, that opens it up. You'll see the ejector starts to operate, and apparently the lady who was demonstrating this at the shoot said, "Don't flick it or you'll fire the shells everywhere." So I said, look, I'll just do it like that. If you keep rotating it all the way, yeah, they drop back in anyhow. Just like the Webley revolver, service revolver. Okay, so very nice. Put your pellets in from the end, yeah, so that you can load this pretty quickly. You know, you can take the shells if you want, but no, don't really need to. So yeah, really solid. Yeah, people recommend you actually should lock it, close it like that. I've never had an issue, but it's a really solid lock. Yeah, trigger's nice. Grips, I'll show you where the CO2 goes in. Obviously you pop the grip off. These actually do look very much like wood, but they're actually plastic. Very nice finish. Pop the cover off, just put your finger in like that, and then your CO2 goes in there, and your little Allen key in the back of the grip. So very straightforward. Pop it back in the latch, snap it shut, job is done. The safety is behind the trigger. Push it forward like that, yeah, and it completely locks the trigger. You shouldn't really need it. It's a single action, so as long as you don't leave it cocked like that, then it should never go off. You shouldn't leave it lying around with young children now. But you can actually decock this as well, so if you do want to leave it, you can hold the trigger, pull the trigger, and then hold the hammer, pull the trigger, and then just let it forward. And that's decocked, you see. Can't fire. So yeah, really nice. Chronograph results, yeah, impressive actually. The first shot, it was completely brand new, and I did one dry fire, and then I shot 54 shots with the Chrony, my R2A, and I was actually aiming at it. The thing is, when I shoot for my R2A, I like to have an aim point, so I consistently shoot for the same point of the Chrony every time, and you get a consistent reading. And this is what's left of the can, completely battered. You can see where it's actually hit. The pellets have hit the actual rim and dented the rim in. This is a soup can, a baked bean can, sorry. Even in the end, which is the toughest bit, you see what it's done. And that was at 12 and a half metres it started at, and then it finally flipped out the ground, and I started hitting it, and it was rolling, and it went out to 16 metres when I took the final shot, which was at 54 shots in. And that was when it just started to tail off. If you look at the actual graph, you can see it's just starting to tail off on the final 6 shots. Okay, but even then, the final shot, yeah, was 2.81 foot-pounds energy. It was 388.1 FPS. Yeah, the peak shot was at 31, and that was at 432.3 FPS, which was 3.49 foot-pounds energy. And from shot 13, which is after the first 2 cylinders, right through to 48, which was 36 shots, it was averaging 20.9 FPS spread over those 36 shots. So even though it's a smooth bore, I think if you use a pellet with a decent sized head, because I use Superfields and they've got a 4.52mm size head, which means they'll probably grip a smooth bore better. Yeah, you'll have less CO2 venting over the head and the skirt if you have a bigger head. They'll shoot better. Even though obviously, excuse me, if you have a smaller head, you'll have some movement of the pellet in the barrel, obviously, because it might be a tiny little bit, but it can affect accuracy. But I find with a smooth bore, same with the Umrex Tornado, a BB shooter, I fire pellets with that. I use the 4.52mm head, and it's really very good, accurate for a smooth bore. Yeah. Okay. So that's the graph there. So that's the performance. First shot was really low, so the spread was actually over all 52 shots was actually quite high. It was 63, but the first shot was 32 FPS low. So because it was a brand new revolver, I don't even think it's been fired. So the first sort of 12 shots were actually under 400 FPS, and then from shot 13 onwards, it was doing 411 FPS, which was 3.16 foot-pounds energy from shot 13. Yeah, so it's got some grunt, and it does show. Just throwing the camera floor. It does actually show it with this, yeah, because if it was a weedy foot-pound energy revolver, it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do that to a can at 12.5 meters. No way. You know, in fact, it wouldn't even punch a hole through that can at 12.5 meters. I don't think. So yeah, really nice revolver. Really impressed with it. I think it might actually improve the more lead you put through, because if you'll put lead on the smooth bore eventually. The more lead you put through any barrel, eventually you'll start depositing lead deposits actually onto the inside of the smooth bore, which should really improve the seal. The more you shoot it should actually improve the seal, like it would if it was rifled. So providing the actual pellet is a nice firm fit. And yeah, it's a lovely piece of equipment. Air gun. It's fantastic, really well made. Same sort of quality level as the Duncan Western 715. Actually, I think this is better. Yeah, I think it's got a lovely grip. Yeah, like I said, single action. Got a nice trigger. There's a little bit of creep, just a tiny little bit. That's the way it goes. But the actual sights. Obviously a groove sight, just like the single action Colt, and they are pretty accurate actually. You know, when I held it on target on the can, it was hitting the can, and it was hitting pretty central as well. So I might get the old paper targets out and see how it does. I reckon it's got the grunt, yeah, to go out to 20 metres, easy. Could I hit cans out at 20 metres and knock them down in sequence? Well, I can with a single action Colt, but this is obviously a lot heavier, and it's got a heavier front end as well, where the single action Colt is a lot better balanced. So shooting it probably double handed, you'd probably be able to do it, you know. But yeah, really nice piece of machinery. This is, you know, it's I don't know if you can see down the barrel, but you can just see where the barrel ends, yeah. But yeah, it is smooth bore. I did take the cylinder, take the cartridges out, and give the barrel a clean and a mop to make sure it was nice and clean. Bit of dirt come out, not much, but obviously that's just protective coating. So yeah, I hope you like that little video, and the next thing will be an outdoor shoot, and see how far out she'll go with the pellets. Thanks for watching.